Hello, my dears. How are you? How are you doing? As you probably already know, and if not, well, I'm telling you now, basically. Not long ago, I went on an exchange, no more and no less than to the United States, okay? I went to New York, and that's what I'm here to discuss today. I went to Washington, I went to Baltimore, I went to a bunch of places. But the first thing we did on that exchange was the trip to New York, which lasted 4 days. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're looking forward to it. I'll tell you all about my New York trip. The Americans were from Baltimore, so my friend was already here in March, during Phallus. 3 weeks later, it was my turn. We spent 4 days in New York, then went to Baltimore with our families. That trip began with having to wake up at 3 a.m. You may wonder why. We had to be at school at 4:30. I almost didn't go to bed since there were only 2 hours before I had to get up. Since everything was ready, I figured I'd rather sleep 2 hours than do nothing. I went to bed, then got up at 3:30 to reach school by 4:30 because the bus was coming to pick us up and take us to Madrid, about a 5-hour drive. On that trip, I lost a contact lens. I had put them in, I think that day, and I lost the lens on the first day of the trip. Well, it's okay. It's not a big deal because between taking it out and putting it back in, because I can't do glasses. Contact lenses on the bus? Well, in the end, it just got lost. So, well, I slept for a little while. Not much. Honestly, that trip wasn't the best. Anyway, we arrived at Barajas Airport. Everything was fine and in order. We checked in and went through security without issues. I was nervous because traveling far and checking my suitcase doesn't make me happy. But I'll also tell you that I was very knowledgeable, okay? Because I had a global positioning system in my suitcases. I was smarter than anyone, and I put a global positioning system in every suitcase. We boarded the plane for an 8-hour flight. Luckily, it was pretty comfortable. When I went to Los Angeles, I don't remember much except feeling claustrophobic on a plane with seats too close together. I was like this, you know? This one was really comfortable. You could lean back, watch television with lots of shows. You had The Big Bang Theory. I have nothing, and I'm saying everything, okay? You had music, you had games, a little pillow, a blanket, everything. So in the end, I slept through almost the entire flight. I fell asleep.
I've slept all day, the whole flight.
I kept falling back asleep after waking up. I mean, it was like, I would do this, sleep for an hour, wake up because my neck hurt so much, then do this again and sleep for another hour. That was my entire flight. Until finally, we arrived at the New York airport. When you arrive in the United States, you must go through a check before entry. We also had to do this. I was there thinking, everything's fine. It's a check, because it's a check where they ask you questions in English. And you have to answer them, like an English speaking test. Basically,
Repeat, please!
I fully expected that as a large school group, they'd direct questions to my teacher. But nope, no, they put us into small groups. The good thing is, I went with my 2 friends, and one of them honestly speaks English very well. In the end, they asked questions, she answered, and I just nodded.
Thank you, thank you.
And they also made us put our fingerprints and things like that. It's very, I don't know, it's kind of scary, isn't it? But anyway, we passed the control, everything was perfect, and finally we're here. Now we're just waiting for the bus to come pick us up. The bus wasn't coming. My teacher kept calling, and when it finally arrived, my teacher grabbed the driver and said, "I don't know who we are. The group, my school." The driver nodded. All the way up, a regular big bus, like always. And there are only 12 of us, so you can get comfortable. Super good. Well, maybe we've been on the road for half an hour, 40 minutes, when suddenly you can see that his boss starts calling him, okay? And he starts telling him, "You're wrong, you picked up the wrong group. Go back." Go back to the airport? Because the other one is here waiting, and the group you were supposed to pick up is waiting for you to come get them. We got stuck in traffic because of the crowds, had to turn around for 30 or 40 minutes, and finally reached the airport. The good thing is that it was worth it, because it was a group of Spanish grandpas too. Very funny. Yes, it really was a trip. Then the man gave us a tour there, all around New York, honestly. So, well, it was good, right? He took us. I was looking at the views and I could see that we were already arriving in New York. And they were all regular buildings. And I was just like that. I saw regular buildings passing by. And I was thinking, this is going to be such a letdown. And then suddenly I saw how the buildings started to grow. They started to become skyscrapers, each one of those buildings. And I was just blown away. I mean, in the van, we saw Times Square. We saw a lot of things, until we finally arrived at the hotel. The hotel, honestly, was a good hotel. And it was also in a great location. I think we were on 40th Avenue or somewhere nearby. It was great since it was right in the center of everything. The rooms were for 4 people, so we had 2 double beds and all that. And there were 4 girls, so there was no problem at all. The only thing, please. What's New York's issue with lights? I don't get it. You'd enter a room and there'd be no light. On the first day, we arrived late due to security, so we just visited Times Square, explored a bit, and went to Sephora. Which is pretty important, I think, right? Look, yeah, that's the Empire State. We walked around a bit, then had dinner at Raising Cane's. I know this sounds familiar to you, okay? And if it doesn't, I'll explain it to you, and I promise it will sound familiar. They're just regular chicken strips, but they got famous on TikTok. Because the sauce came in a cup like this. Like a soda cup. One of those classic cardboard ones from McDonald's. Well, all of that was filled with sauce. Well, so we basically went there. It was really good too, I have to say, but no, you don't pay $6 for sauce in a soda cup. In the end, half was left over since you don't need that much. It felt like a ripoff, but I have to admit it was really good. I ordered from the kids' menu, but strangely there was no water, so I had to eat with milk instead. No, I didn't get it, but there was no water. But anyway, it was pretty good. So, ruled out, right? So yeah, that's good. The second day, basically, we went all over Manhattan, all over New York. To really see them, our entire group of teachers went. But the downside was it was raining across Manhattan. They showed us the most famous buildings where movies had been filmed, like, for example, if I'm not mistaken, it's called the Plaza Hotel, or something like that, where Home Alone was filmed. And what else? We explored Manhattan, and I was honestly amazed every time I left the hotel. Suddenly, you're surrounded by tall buildings, and often, because of frequent fog, half the building disappears into it. I mean, it was amazing, and you could see it even more at night. We went to the most famous Apple store. It was a bit disappointing. I mean, it was just a regular store. The only cool thing about it was the staircase, but otherwise, it was just an ordinary store. We saw the Cake Boss store, which made me really excited because it's literally from my childhood. We also went to Washington Square, which was beautiful. Honestly, I didn't know it existed, but it was really lovely. Since it was raining, you just don't enjoy it as much. Oh well. Here's a tip. If you're traveling to New York, bring umbrellas. And another extra tip. If it's transparent, even better, because in the end, you know, when you're walking around with the umbrella right here, and the cool thing about the buildings is seeing how tall they are, how beautiful they are, all that. In the end, the umbrella just blocks your whole field of vision. If it wasn't transparent, I couldn't see like with my clear one, even just through the umbrella. We also visited the memorial. I didn't know what it was, but I was amazed. It was where the Twin Towers stood. And now they've created something beautiful there. Like a kind of pools, okay? Like black ones, and with a bottom, they were square, right? Like where the tower itself used to be. So, around the edge, it was all filled with the names of the deceased from the towers. And then, in that pool, there was like a hole in the center, also square. And it was like all the water was going in there. I don't know, it was really beautiful. Because it was also really sad. I mean, you were there and it's like you felt like, what? I don't know, it made you feel really sad. I mean, they represented it really well. It was really beautiful. I loved that. And besides, I had no idea what it was, and it really impressed me. We also went to Wall Street. You know, it's one of those things where you hear the name and you don't really know what it is, but you know about it, right? It's this street here, okay? It was beautiful. The huge old buildings were really impressive. I loved it and took great photos, including one of a statue of a little girl standing like this. I'm not really sure what it represented, but I think it was like, I don't know, freedom or something like that. But anyway, and also, important fact, I didn't understand anything. Apparently, in New York, there's a bull you have to touch the balls. Basically. So there was an incredible line to take a picture. Touching the bull's balls, basically. So I said, let's take a picture with its face instead. That's better, right? Since we're in a hurry and have to leave, I won't take pictures. Except for one with its face. I took a picture with the bull's face, and they took a newspaper-style photo of me. I have to look for it. Because I don't know where it is, but yes. And the bull was super beautiful. And there was no line there. I'll also tell you that I must have looked bad, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to take any pictures. And I'm telling you, to take a picture with golden eggs like these here, it doesn't really take much. I don't know. To end the second day, we did New York's two most important things back to back. Okay? Which was to go see the Statue of Liberty, of course. And the Brooklyn Bridge. We first took a boat to visit the Statue of Liberty. We thought it was going to drop us off on Liberty Island, but that was kind of a lie. They didn't let us off. It was just a boat ride to see the Statue of Liberty. From that far away, and besides, I was really scared because the view was terrible. The fog was so thick I couldn't see anything. I thought, oh my God. I came to see the Statue of Liberty and I won't because I just can't see. Not even the buildings because of all the fog. They got us a little closer, but they didn't let us off. The thing is, since it was getting dark, photos with flash, I turned around again and they turned out so pretty. I mean, I got some great shots with the Statue of Liberty right behind me. At least for me, it worked out really well. We went out on a small boat. There were only 2 spots for a good view of the Statue of Liberty, and they were always crowded. And I did this, since I'm small. I squeezed myself in, just a little bit, right in the middle between the people. People would leave after taking some pictures, but the best part was when it got darker. Wait, what am I saying? I mean, the later it got at night. They looked prettier because the flash made the photos better and people took advantage of it. They took their photos and left when there was more light, but I stayed until it was dimmer, which is when I got the best shots. Where does it end up? But that's just how it is. We return from taking pictures, you get on the boat, and it flips to the other side. And we were like, you're not going to let us? We thought they'd leave us on the island to see the statue, since you can do that and there are boats for it. But no, it just got close. So at least I got my last pictures really close. Otherwise, that was the closest I'd get to the Statue of Liberty. Just so you can see how confused I am. No, we didn't see the Brooklyn Bridge that day. It was the next. Honestly, I can't remember what I saw on each day anymore. I mean, it's only because I have the photos here. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. On the third day, we also walked around New York a bit, but not like the day before. It was much more relaxed. We went to Rockefeller Center, which is where they put up the Christmas tree. Well, in winter, when it's Christmas, basically. And they put it right there in the middle, and it was super beautiful. It had like a fountain, like a golden statue. The building was huge. It was really beautiful. Then we saw St. Patrick's Church. I didn't know there was a church right in the middle, but they were beautiful. And one of them, if I'm not mistaken, was St. Patrick's. Out front, there was some kind of parade. And I don't know who these people were, but they were all dressed in suits with their little captain hats. I don't know what it was, but suddenly they started playing drums and walking like this, in a line, a whole bunch of people. I didn't get it, but I recorded it. We also saw where they filmed the Jimmy Fallon show. And we also saw the really famous Louis Vuitton building, the one with the handbags. I thought this was fake. I swear. I thought it was totally fake. I mean, it's crazy, because it's something you totally don't expect. It's like it just doesn't fit. They're just ordinary buildings full of handbags. It doesn't really make sense, but the building is cool. Really tall and has amazing details. Honestly, I was stunned. We wanted to go in, but ended up entering the building across the street. It was like the store. We didn't know if we had to go around to get into the handbag building. If it was possible, we just didn't know anything. We went into the beautiful Louis Vuitton store, which had suitcases and more. They were stacked all the way to the top. It was super pretty. There was even an area like a chocolate section, where they sold you chocolate-shaped like handbags and lots of other things. Then we went to the crown jewel of that day, which was the observation deck, okay? There are a lot of people who go to the Empire State, because it's also an observation deck. Some people go to another one. But we went to the summit, and let me tell you, I loved it. I mean, we went to the summit. It has 93 floors, if I'm not mistaken. The highest was 93, so you went to 91, 92, and 93 each with different things, okay? And only the elevator. It was already really cool. It went up fast, looked great with mirrors everywhere, lights, and a strange breathing sound. Honestly, it was beautiful. And then they showed us a video that honestly was a bit of a lie. The summit was empty at first, but later many more people arrived. It wasn't like before. I'm telling you, even with many people, it's well done because it looks exactly the same. They gave us sunglasses, which I still have because they handed them out later. They gave us small bags for our shoes to keep the glass floor clean. And then we arrived, we first got to 91, and that one was, I'm telling you, the best. If you go, make the most of 91. It's truly unique. In 91, it was a huge room. The floor, walls, and ceiling were all covered in mirrors, making everything feel like an observation deck. So, since it was so big, there really weren't that many people for such a huge room, so I literally took a window for myself, okay? I had that window to myself. So, you had like an hour and a half or something like that. An hour, I don't know. But anyway, and you could use it however you wanted. But of course, once you went upstairs, you couldn't come back down. We spent most of our time on the lower floors since it's the best place to see everything clearly. And then we went up to the other floors. The other ones. It's like you see things from higher up, but you don't see everything in as much detail. You can't see the Empire State. I had the Empire State literally right here, so it wasn't really worth it. On the second floor, there was a glass observation deck, similar to a small balcony. And there was a huge line, and it was kind of silly. So we just skipped it. On the third floor, there was a small outdoor terrace. It looked nice, but nothing compares to the 91st floor. It was gorgeous. And then there was the 91st itself, which I nearly forgot. A well-known thing about the summit is they have silver inflatable balls, so you can take pictures with the balls. It's a small room with the observation deck behind you and balls flying around. Well, no. I mean, I saw videos of people, walking through the beautiful balls. It's a lie. I don't know how they do it. I entered that room and it was packed with people, with the guy who was watching over the balls saying, "Please don't pop them," because there were kids playing soccer with the balls and popping them. So many people made photos nearly impossible. I only got 2 good shots. The 91st floor was the highlight. The first phase you enter, that's the best one. Without a doubt. Just like that. We left Summit, took the subway, and went to the Brooklyn Bridge. That's it. I mean, we walked the whole bridge, which took quite a while, it took us some time, and we acted a bit silly. Basically. And that's it. We left, took the subway again, and went back to the hotel. And then to have dinner, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think I had sushi. I mean, it wasn't very good, but hey, sushi on a coast like that in New York? Well, no. But, well, that's what there was. Basically. 4th and last day. The plan for this day was basically to go to Central Park in the morning and in the afternoon head to Baltimore, already with the families. So we walked to Central Park. We passed by, if I'm not mistaken, John Lennon's house, which was next to Central Park. And then we went to what is basically the heart of Central Park. Since it was a rainy day, it's true that there were very few people, but it felt like everything was just really sad. Because in the end, it's a natural park, so what I want is to see it colorful and lively. But I did see a lot of squirrels. That's true. I saw a lot of squirrels, also really close by. And if I remember correctly, right before going to Central Park, we stopped by the crumble cookies store. I finally tried the crumble cookies. That week, I got the ones with the cards and tried them. Honestly, they're great. I did a little taste test. I got small ones. I got 3 small ones, and they cost me €8. I will eat cookies tonight. Girls, just a moment here.
It's delicious.
It's really good. It's tasty. What was that? Cookie dough or something?
That one's brown.
I don't like it.
This one is mine.
I think so, huh?
Okay, which one was mine?
This one. I'll keep this one.
I'm not sure what they're made of. It's something, but I don't know what. It's made of Snickers.
It's just that if it has your face on it, it's used to knowing.
It tastes like cinnamon. It's good. It's like meringue milk. It's tasty.
Yes, it's delicious.
It's good. It's good. cookies and cream. Anyway, I want to go. This one isn't as good, but it's still tasty. I think the Snickers one is better. That's when we went to Central Park. We wanted to visit the zoo, but they wouldn't let us in since we only had an hour before catching our train. Obviously, you can't see a zoo in just an hour. That zoo is where they filmed The Penguins of Madagascar, so it has some history, right? And finally, we took the train. Everyone. We spent 3 hours on a train until we got to Baltimore to meet my American roommate's family. I was scared, you know? But I'll tell you all about that in the next video. So, my dears, see you soon. I love you all so much. Big kisses, beautiful people. Mwah.